so sometimes things are tricky, you know what I mean? And it's a little bit more difficult than just making the fight happen. But like I said, I'm pushing to make the biggest and best fights happen. And
is it really possible that the so-called Mexican monster, the man who spent years pushing for a mega fight with Canelo, actually walked away from a massive showdown against the new pound-for-pound leader Terence Crawford?
Turki tweeted after the Canelo Crawford fight, asking like, hey, could you maybe come down to 168?
Almost as fast as the rumors spread, David Benavidez stepped in and shut them down himself, and the explanation he offered caught everyone off guard, yet the deeper story behind his unexpected decision points to a deliberate strategy that reshapes how we view his next move. This is more than a simple choice about the next fight. It feels like a closing chapter on everything that came before, and Benavidez appears determined to answer unfinished business on a completely different stage than came. September 13th, a night filled with energy, when Terence "Bud" Crawford achieved what many believed was impossible by climbing to a higher weight class and breaking down the iconic Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo a couple of times, and he looked spectacular. Congratulations to Terence Crawford for that great performance, and man, it was a great fight.
Were you expecting more from Canelo?
I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting Canelo to knock out Crawford, to be honest with you, because it's a three-weight divisions. Well, he did fight one time the higher division, but and to me, it's three ways, he had to go up a lot in weight, and that's what I was expecting. But at the end of the day, I got to give respect to Canelo. He has done so much in boxing that it will be hard for somebody else to achieve and make. He trained hard, and he said that he tried, but the body did not respond. And I've been saying that, the body is worn out. Canelo is young, but in boxing life, he's worn out.
As fans were still absorbing Crawford's brilliant display, His Excellency Turki Alalshikh moved quickly, posting on social media with a direct question asking whether David Benavidez could still get down to 168 pounds. And just like that, talk of a massive showdown exploded. Benavidez, the unbeaten two-time champion, carrying a daunting record of 30 victories, including 24 knockouts, had long been viewed as the most dangerous presence in the division, with many supporters convinced Canelo avoided him for years. A matchup pairing Crawford's elite technique with Benavidez's raw strength felt like the obvious and most thrilling fight available. The public was eager, the financial backing was ready, and the sport's most powerful promoter was already fueling the conversation.
I said to you earlier, I think Terence is really funny. I love the way he lives his life. I love the way he brings his kids. If you watch his kids with the wrestling and stuff like that, he's just a winner. And I feel that, you got guys who are really, really, really good, and they're not really hell-bent on becoming a star. I put you in that category. I put Terence in that category. Maybe Shakur, where they feel like they don't really want to, Terence ain't bothered about going to premieres and, being on the front cover of magazines and stuff like that. But unfortunately, in the business, we have to try and make sure he has that kind of value commercially. So it's getting the narrative and the moments right to just showcase his personality a little bit.
What looked like the perfect opportunity suddenly came to a confusing halt when David Benavidez ended the rumors in a way that left no room for doubt. During an interview with Fight Hub TV, he made his stance completely clear, stating that his time at super middleweight was over.
Bro, my plan is after this fight, I want to go down to 154. Nah, bro. I'm done with cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I say cruiserweight.
I want to use this moment to give Crawford full credit, because what he delivered was outstanding. He deserves to be mentioned among the all-time greats. Without question, now it is his time to move how he wants. But as for me, I am not looking to face Crawford, and I am not planning to return to 168 pounds.
I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I say cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity to, congratulate Crawford. He put a hell of a performance. He's up there in the Mount Rushmore of the greatest fighters of all time. And, let Crawford do his thing, bro. At the end of the day, I have no interest in fighting Crawford. I have no interest in going down to 168. Yeah, it's nice that it would be dope winning all titles, but I'm way past that at 168.
His words left no room for doubt. This was not a strategy to raise his value or start talks. It was a firm decision. He made that unmistakably clear when he added that he would not return to 168 even for Canelo, speaking honestly. And without hesitation, he acknowledged that 168 now belongs to Crawford and made it known that his chapter in that division is officially closed.
The only reason I wouldn't even go down to 168 for Canelo, and I'm just being real with you, and let Crawford do his thing, let him have his, let him. I want to give his flowers, man, because he's a great fighter, man. When there's no other fighters coming up from 147 to beat a type of fighter like Canelo at 168, and Crawford, he's one of the greatest of all time. So, I have no interest in going down to 168. I'm not saying that I'm scared of Crawford or whatever, but Crawford's a man at 168. That's his weight class. I'm done with 168.
When he was asked if an incredible $120 million offer could convince him to return, he made it clear without hesitation that the answer was no for him. This decision has nothing to do with a paycheck. It is about a far greater purpose.
David, if they throw 100 million, 120 million to go down for either or, would you second?
120 million sounds good, but honestly, at the end of the day, no. No. But they won't give 120 million. I don't even think Canelo got 120 million for fighting Crawford, to be honest with you. But no, man, I'm done with 168.
The reality behind David Benavidez's decision reaches far beyond the difficulties of making weight. It reflects a deliberate shift toward a new and more ambitious path in his career. He is not avoiding obstacles, but instead choosing to pursue a different challenge that aligns with his long-term goals and future ambitions.
Whatever money they want on me, and my job is not only to get the money. My job is to give myself the best chance to win and to give myself the best chance of looking good.
David Benavidez has now settled into the light heavyweight division at 175 pounds and is targeting the leading champions of the weight class. His next major challenge is a high-stakes fight against Anthony Yarde, a matchup planned to take place in Riyadh. This bout represents an important opportunity for Benavidez to establish himself in his new division and compete at the highest level against top-tier opposition.
Let me know how this fight came about, because I was surprised that you went this route with Yarde.
Yeah, so there was a lot of options on the table. Obviously we wanted to get a great fight because the last fight with me and David Benavidez lived up to expectation. I think it exceeded expectations. So we wanted to give the fans a good fight. We were in line for Bivol for the belts, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So we were looking, to get a crowd-pleasing fight, and we're trying to fight the best in the division of 175. If it's not the champions, we want to fight the next best guys. We were looking at some options, but the only one that really manifested itself was the fight with Anthony Yarde, and I think this is a crowd-pleasing fight. Anthony Yarde, he's a great fighter. He still has a ton of fight in him. He's been in there with Artur, Beterbiev, Kovalev. So he's been up there with, the top guys. And I feel like this is probably going to be the most he comes prepared for any fight, because he's lost his last two title fights. And, I feel like he knows that this is probably the last opportunity. Not his last opportunity, but this is, he has to take advantage of this opportunity. So I'm not taking Anthony Yarde lightly. I know he has a dog in him. I know he has a lion in him, but, I have the lion in me as well. So this is going to be a perfect fight for my first fight with Riyadh.
He views this opportunity as a pathway to global recognition, and more importantly, a stepping stone toward reaching the highest level of the light heavyweight division and competing among the very best at 175 pounds.
Like I said, I'm very grateful for this, and not only am I grateful for fighting with Riyadh season, but I'm grateful because I don't want to just be a regional fighter. I want to be a worldwide fighter, and this is the first time that I'm going to fight in a different country, in Saudi Arabia. So this is going to be a little. It's going to be a gift for the fans in Saudi Arabia. When I went over there the first time to see Bivol and Beterbiev fight, a lot of people show love, and I know I have a lot of fans out there. So, this is going to be a great fight for all the fans in Saudi Arabia.
David Benavidez is confident that victory will come and that it will eventually place him on a direct path toward facing the most dangerous champions in the division, including Dmitry, Bivol, and Artur, Beterbiev. For Benavidez, the journey toward greatness is no longer tied to the weight class he once dominated, but to challenging the toughest opponents that stand ahead, he is pursuing legacy and long-term achievement rather than short-term rewards, and believes that the light heavyweight division is where his ambitions and future success now belong.
In this weight division, 175 pounds, you have the undisputed champion in Dmitry Bivol, who's reigning, but he has we think a rubber match with Artur Beterbiev scheduled at some point. Has it been told to you, David, that like if you win this fight, you're gonna get a crack at either Bivol or Beterbiev?
I mean, yeah, it's not, they haven't told me specifically that, but, you know, I mean, just in the trajectory of what I'm doing, what I am, you know, I'm world champion at 175 with the WBC, so it's inevitable. It's just when it's going to happen, you know what I mean? I take my career one fight at a time, you know what I mean? I don't really let other fights kind of get into my brain. You know, I'm getting ready for Anthony Yarde. I'm 100% focused on Anthony Yarde, and whatever comes next, comes next. But as for what I'm thinking of, you know, that's what else is there left? What other fights you guys want to see me fight? You know what I mean? Especially that we're here with Turki Alalshikh. We're getting these fights done. In my opinion, a fight with Beterbiev or Bivol is next. You know what I mean? And
the idea of a massive showdown was quickly shut down not only by Benavidez, but also by Crawford's own team. His respected trainer Brian McIntyre dismissed the speculation outright when asked about the possibility, stating clearly that the fight was not happening and that their focus remained on rest and recovery after an exhausting training camp for the planned bout with Canelo Alvarez. McIntyre emphasized that Crawford had just come through 6 demanding months of preparation and needed time to recover before considering any new challenges.
You know what? We're going to get back in the gym. We're going to get back in the gym, and we're going to assess that. And, you know, right now I just want him to go on vacation, have some fun, spend time with his family, man, because we trained for like probably a half a year for that fight. You know what I'm saying? A lot of time spent away from home, a lot of time spent away from the family. So I just want him to just go get back home.
He simply wanted his fighter to take a break and spend time with family instead of rushing into talks for another tough matchup. Those comments made it clear that this fight was never truly on the table for Crawford's team. The reality was that both fighters were on separate journeys, with neither side viewing the other as an immediate priority. The story was not just about one side rejecting a challenge. It was about two top athletes moving in different directions at this stage of their careers.
The need for Benavidez.
Canelo?
Turkey, you know, people are talking about it.
Turkey hit it at that. He was like Benavidez.
Yeah, he
Turkey,
did.
so.
Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benavidez and Terence Crawford.
No,
there.
man.
That fight. Maybe planning on vacating the belts.
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts. You know, we just gonna sit where we need to sit for a minute, and then, just like I said, get back in the gym and do our thing.
To really grasp the mindset of Canelo Alvarez and the long frustration that shaped it, you have to remember how he stood as the bigger, younger, and aggressively dominant force. While many believed he was the one opponent Canelo most wanted to avoid, that prolonged and ultimately unsuccessful pursuit appears to have left a lasting impact, convincing him that the 168-pound division no longer holds the future he once imagined. Moving on is not just a professional decision, it is an emotional turning point, a release from years of waiting and uncertainty as he seeks new challenges and opportunities elsewhere.
I think the type of person that Canelo is, he's going to be, oh, well, I didn't prepare for that fight, but now I'm prepared, this and that. You know, there's another storyline behind that because of the way he lost. He didn't go in there and get just beat up and destroyed the whole fight. It just didn't look like he prepared at all. And the fighter that was prepared, was Crawford. So, there could still be a big storyline, 175. Like I said, he could say, oh, well, now I'm motivated. Now I have a reason to train, now this and that. And it'll be a title fight for 175. So, everything is still possible right now. And Canelo, what is he, like 35?
I think it's 33.
33, yeah, and then imagine Crawford was 38. So I mean, I don't, I'm not focused on Canelo. I got my own stuff going on, but if there might be a way to make that fight happen. So like I said, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just thinking about the fighters I got.
Seeing Terence Crawford defeat the fighter he himself never managed to face may have been the moment that convinced him of everything he already suspected. He believed Crawford approached the challenge with greater seriousness, while feeling that ego and lack of preparation cost Canelo Alvarez the victory. By walking away from the 168-pound division, he is effectively closing the chapter tied to Canelo for good choosing, instead to build a fresh legacy rather than remain stuck in a weight class defined by a fight that never materialized.
That Canelo was making, and I know all these people say, oh yeah, you know, talking shit about Canelo. I'm not talking shit about him. He just didn't look like he really prepared 100%. He's throwing 10 punches around, or I think it was his ego is that big that he thought that, oh, I'm just gonna walk through him, catch him with a good shot, and it's gonna be done. As you can see, Crawford is a different type of fighter. Not only has he had the boxing IQ, he has that dog in him. He was in there. He was brawling. If I'm being honest with you, bro, I'm not happy that he lost. I kind of feel like that could have been me. That was my moment. You know what I mean? If I would have gone in there, I know I would have beat him. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be a hater, but that's kind of how I feel. But you know what I mean? I give all the flowers to Crawford. You know what I mean?
That should have been me in there. That should have been my...
If I would have got that fight.
The firm position taken by David Benavidez also reflects a deep personal change. He is no longer the reckless young fighter who once attracted criticism and negative headlines. He has openly admitted past mistakes, but says he has grown from them, becoming a more focused and disciplined individual. Much of this growth comes from a renewed sense of purpose rooted in prayer and meditation. He speaks about living a righteous life not only for his career, but also as a committed father and husband. This new maturity has given him a clearer understanding of his goals. He is determined to chase greatness and build a lasting legacy, and he refuses to allow outside opinions or temporary opportunities to pull him away from that mission. His decision to walk away from certain fights is not arrogance, but rather a disciplined choice made by someone who knows exactly who he is and where he wants to go, both in boxing and in life.
Bivol.
And you were younger.
I was 22. From seeing what I did to him in those sparring sessions, I'm very confident I'll win. But I'm not gonna, be a fool and just use confidence as 100% fuel. I'm gonna go in there and work extremely hard.
You're looking to go up to 175 pounds and potentially get the winner out of Beterbiev and Bivol.
That's why I want to be a part of these big fights too, because as you know, both you guys know, once you get a really good fighter in front of you, the training camp is different. The mentality is different. And when you get in that ring, you shine. That's what I want for myself. I want to be put in them hard positions where you have to use 100% of your skills. And that's why I feel like the best will come out of me. So I'm not scared of it. So whatever it is, even if light heavyweight isn't my final destination, I really want to go up to cruiserweight.
Ooh, so that's cruiserweight, just another, you're a weight class away from going to actual heavyweight.
Yeah. But we're going to move one step at a time. We got light heavyweight. That's a division I've been wanting to go to for a long time.
With the Crawford fight no longer on the table, the future path for David Benavidez could take an even more dramatic turn. He is looking beyond the light heavyweight division. And if challenges against Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev do not materialize, he has spoken about moving up once again, this time to cruiserweight, for a massive showdown with fellow Mexican fighter Gilberto Ramirez. He believes such a fight between two powerful Mexican contenders would create an unforgettable event and a true war in the ring that fans would want to see. This plan reflects his ambition to chase the biggest challenges available regardless of weight class. He is not interested in exhibitions or easy opportunities. His goal remains winning world titles and building a legacy among boxing's greatest names. Even if that means stepping into uncharted territory, the dream of a Crawford matchup is gone, not because of outside forces, but because of his own decision. He has chosen to leave behind the hype of that potential super fight and instead move into the demanding world of light heavyweight and beyond. Some will call it avoiding one challenge while pursuing another, but others will see it as a bold move, a fighter shaping his own destiny rather than following expectations. The question now is whether this gamble will lead to greatness or risk his perfect record. But one thing is clear: he is no longer waiting for opportunities to come to him. He is actively seeking them and fighting for his place at the top. That is all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the next update.